Billy Secrekus was saying that he gets some awful pronunciations of his name. What's the worst stab that you've heard someone have a go at yours?
Probably the one on the weekend when I went to I can't remember what he said. I think he said Charbel Titimas or Charbel. I don't know what it was, but it wasn't too bad. So that's probably the most recent one.
That's like a different person.
Yeah, well, it's not too bad though. I don't really take offense to it. I know it's a bit of a different name, so it's all good.
It's not really. What I mean, we need to be getting your name right when you're scoring tries. How did it feel to score your first one for Cass?
Oh, like mate, it was just unreal. I think the fans played a big part in that. Like, they really got behind us, and were still like had belief in our team. And I think like when you're in those situations where you lose a game, and you're thinking about getting relegated and stuff like that, and they just turn up the way that they did, it kind of made me like really hyped up in the moment, and we felt that going into the game. So it was unreal, mate.
How strange has it been for you? Obviously, you're now playing under your second coach in the space of only a few weeks.
It was a bit it was a bit of a strange one to sort of take in when last year was released, and we're a bit unsure, but like Danny's a top bloke, and he's an awesome coach, so he's slipped in like really well, and it's been a very smooth transition. Training's been so good, and well, he's really given us a lot of confidence. So it was a bit rocky at the start, but it's all good now.
Does it change anything personally insofar as the coach that initially signed you moves on and a new coach comes in who probably doesn't know a great deal about you? I would assume. Does it motivate you even more to sort of prove yourself for this second coach in a way?
Yep, definitely. Knew that I had to sort of prove myself, and Danny came in, and I didn't take my spot in the team for granted. So I wanted to obviously put my best foot in training and train as hard as I can, and obviously put that into the game. And coming into this week, I think I'm not gonna be very comfortable. I'm still gonna play my best this week, and for the next however so 5 games, and I'm gonna keep doing that every week to obviously try to cement my spot in this team.
You made your debut at centre. You played it in the second row last week. I'm assuming the back row is your favoured position, is it?
Yeah, but I've been playing back row for a couple of years now. But in the juniors, I played a bit of center. So, it's sort of when I play center, I'm more of like I will attack the ball more, get my hands on the ball more involved, and when I play in back row, I get more involved with the tackling. So it's sort of I don't have a preference, but I'm just happy to be wherever the team needs me to be.
I was looking at your stats for last Friday. They were right up there. Are you happy with how it's gone so far?
Yeah, I'm not really a stats person. I just sort of try to get myself involved in the game as much as I can, and just obviously try my best. So yeah.
And obviously, it was a huge game, wasn't it, last Friday? What did you make of the atmosphere, and what have you made of your first sort of couple of games of Super League?
Um, last week's game.
Yeah, last week. What was the atmosphere like?
Yeah, it was pretty good. A lot of Cas fans turned up, so I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting like just to be hearing all of the Wakey fans, but a lot of the Cas fans turned up, and it was just unreal. I've never really experienced something like that in my footy career, so it was an unreal experience, and we kind of felt that in the warm up, all the fans getting involved, and it really gave us a confidence boost to go into the game. So it was unreal.
And do you feel that Super League suits? You've only got two games to judge it on, but do you feel like Super League suits you?
Yeah, I do. I do think so. I think that obviously playing a couple of years in reserve grade, I sort of had to take a next step into my career. So I think Super League will be good for me.
You got your debut at home. You're back at home this Friday, aren't you? Obviously, the home games are very important. You've only got another one after this. What what did you make of the atmosphere at Cass when you made your debut? Does that compare with anything that you've experienced before?
Uh, Definitely not, mate. It's not really something I'm used to back home in Australia. So my first home game, it was just unreal. Like couldn't hear anyone talk, couldn't like speak to anyone in the warm up because the fans were just going crazy. So yeah, definitely haven't experienced something like that, and I expect after last week's performance that there'll be a packed out stadium this Friday. So I'm just keen to go out there and obviously do my best, and hopefully we get the win.
Have you got any past connections with anyone from St Helens?
Um, Not really. No, I'm not too. I'm not friends with anyone, or not too sure of anyone from Saints. So
Keep it that way, mate. What about by reputation? You'll know. I guess what to expect from Saints on Friday.
oh, like I've heard that they've won the past four Super Leagues. So um, obviously, and we've done our video throughout the week, so we know that they're a top side, and we're obviously going to go in the mentality that it's going to be a tough game. So yeah, like I think they're a good side as well. I think they play a good style of footy, so it'll be a really good challenge for us um to play this week, and obviously going into the next four games after that.
Just lastly from me, Charbel, obviously you're contracted for next season as well. I know it's still early days in terms of your cast career, but can you see yourself putting down sort of roots here in the UK longer than that?
Yeah, I've definitely thought about it, and I've enjoyed my time here. But I think a bit when I came last year, I sort of got a bit homesick. But compared to this year, like being around the fans and around this good club and sort of the lifestyle that it brings me, I'm definitely willing to stay long term in the UK. So we'll just I'll just have to focus on obviously putting in my best performances, and then hopefully it all works out for me.
Can you just tell us a bit about your background? Because I was just looking, and it strikes me that you probably potentially qualify to play for four countries at rugby league. I know you played for Lebanon in the World Cup last year, but you're born in Australia, so obviously you could play for them. I think your father is a New Zealander, but of Samoan extraction, so you could probably play for both those countries as well. So I'm almost tempted to, and your mother, of course, is where the Lebanese connection comes in, isn't it? So I'm almost tempted to ask, what made you choose Lebanon as opposed to the other three?
Well, I don't know if you know, but the Samoan sides are probably a difficult side to make since they've got a lot of NRL experience in there,
Yeah,
and the New Zealand side, like they speak for themselves, and obviously
yeah.
Australia. So, yeah, I think the Lebanese side was obviously my main focus after the season was finished, and the coach which is Michael Checker, obviously reached out to me and asked if I was interested to play. So I said yes, but in future, and if any other country offered me, I think I'd be in trouble.
Yeah, I mean, was it looking back at the World Cup last year? Did you enjoy the experience? I mean, you said you were a little bit homesick at times, but
Yeah,
how did it go?
yeah, it was good. We're based in Manchester, so it was a bit busy at times, but I think it was sort of we had a lot of meetings and a lot of trainings and stuff like that, and it was something I wasn't used to at the time because I was still playing footy part time and stuff like that. So sort of by the end of it, I sort of got a bit homesick, and so but it was a good experience. I think I played the final in Huddersfield, the Huddersfield Stadium, and that
Mm,
was an unreal experience. So yeah, mate, it was a definitely good experience last year.
yeah, and are you a Sydney sider by birth? Were you born and do you live in Sydney? Presumably you do.
Yeah, yeah. I'm born and raised in Sydney.
Right, and play for Newtown.
Yeah, Newtown Jets. Yeah.
Yeah. What was that? I mean, that they're an iconic club, aren't they? They've had a long history. They used to be in the Premiership themselves before they got demoted some years ago. Were they a good club to play for? Did you enjoy the experience of being a Newtown Jets player?
Yeah, I really loved it. The fans were sort of similar to the Cas fans. They were real passionate, and they always turned up to our home games um, at Henson Park. So I
Yeah.
did really enjoy my time there. So yeah, it was unreal.
Do you see yourself as potentially an NRL player at some stage? Because obviously it's just that one extra step, isn't it, to get to that level?
Um, yeah, I'd like to think so. I'd like to think that I back myself in the way that I present myself at training and in the games that I am able to go to that next level of NRL. But obviously, right now my focus is to do my best in Super League and play consistent footy every week.
Well, you're actually here for another year after this year, as we've already said. But interestingly enough, it was a televised game, of course, on Friday night, and you scored a try, and our reporter made you the man of the match. You'll be glad to know. And I would think that quite a few Australian clubs will probably get to see most Super League games. So, it's not a bad start for you, I don't think. If
Yeah,
you were ever trying to get back in, become an NRL player yourself.
yeah, it was. I mean, I'd hope that some NRL clubs would see that, but obviously, for me, I just need to keep doing that continuously because I know that a lot of NRL clubs are really like they really want some consistent players. So I think the main thing for me is to just keep going each week.
It would be a massive thing to beat St Helens this weekend because they're obviously the benchmark club in England, as you know, World Club Challenge winners against Penrith earlier this year. So, if you put in another good performance and actually beat them, that will make a few people start taking notice.
Yeah, 100%, mate. I think they've been a good club for however many years. So, to get the win and to have a good performance against St Helens, should be big. So, very excited about tomorrow.
Well, thanks. I wonder what about the cold UK in November made you homesick, eh?
Oh yeah, I think it was the cold as well at the time. So yeah.
Was there anything good about the country that made an impression on you? You're obviously persuaded to come back.
I went to a couple Premier League games. I went to Anfield to watch
Oh,
play, and like I've never experienced anything like that before in Australia. So that was pretty cool. And to think of the sort of lifestyle, being able to travel the world after the season. So, there's a lot of opportunity in that aspect. That sort of came to me, but obviously being able to train full time and focus on my footy and improve my footy each week, I think that was the main reason to come back.
do you follow football quite a bit?
I don't follow it, but I mean, yeah, I do. I would watch a game or two.
Is there a team over here you think you'd like to support?
Yeah, probably Arsenal.
Oh, why is that?
Because of when I think about them, I think of that season. What are they called? The Invincibles or something.
Invincibles. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, I like Thierry Henry. I thought he was a good player. Yeah.
Do you think you'll be able to get down to Arsenal at some point?
Yeah, maybe. We'll see. I'll have to ask the two other roommates that I'm living with at the moment, see if they're keen. But yeah, I'm sure they will be.
Who is it that you're living with? Is it the other new guys that came
Yeah,
at the same time as you? Yeah.
yeah. We live together, so yeah, it's pretty good.
How's that going so far?
What, living with them?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's keeps you busy all the time, so you're not feeling like you're alone around here. So it's been pretty good.
Did you know them at all beforehand?
I knew of Billy, and I knew because we played in like around reserve grades against each other, but I hadn't met Liam before. So, but yeah, like they're obviously two good blokes, and we all get along really well, and we really bought into what's happening over here. So it just makes everything so much more easier.
Sounds like a good sitcom, that potentially.
Yeah, you just gotta make sure that Liam does all his washing and dishes, and then it'll be sweet.
What jobs do you do?
Washing, cleaning, just all
All of them.
yeah, yeah, pretty much.
Did it help you probably coming over at the same time as those guys? You weren't the only one sort of joining.
Did it help me come over?
Did it help you joining the club at the same time, not being the only new face coming in?
Yeah, like I guess so. It was I obviously joined over like thinking the opportunity to play Super League, but to know that there was two other boys from Australia that are coming with me obviously made me feel a bit more comfortable and that I was living with them. So yeah, I think it's been real good living with those two.
Mm. You were talking about how obviously it's a bit strange what happened with the the change of coach and everything. But I mean, before that, I mean, what's it like joining a relegation battle, a team that's struggling as Cass were at the time?
Yeah, I think like coming over, I think to myself that I put that aside mentally, so I could just focus on training every day at my best and trying to play good footy. So I was prepared to just put that aside and focus on my footy at the time. So yeah.